Hi, my name is Robert Mick. I've been working aircraft maintenance for about 35 years now. I'd like to present an enhanced way I feel would be a better way of installing panels on most areas of your aircraft, to include areas of high rate of moisture and corrosion on the interior of aircraft. In the past, we've always seemed to use a 60-year-old tried and true way of putting CPC on our screws and washers and just merely shoving them in the hole. As we know, that seems to not be working, as 60 to 80% of our corrosion discrepancies on H-60 helicopters, H-53s, and non-supersonic aircraft seem to keep having the same problem over and over again. So with that, I would like to show you maybe a little bit better way and a non-intrusive way that would not affect the maintenance schedule of your aircraft. For this presentation, I made a mock-up of some cover panels, attached surface to represent the attached area inside or on the exterior aircraft where panels, fairings, and covers attach. As you can see, I made it out of clear plexiglass so that we can get a good visual of exactly what I'm talking about when we install. Two of the products I'm using today, Corbin 27L and grade 4. If you don't have an applicator of that type, anything will work. Just want to show you a way to do it when you're on the boat or anywhere else. Simply take your grade 4, turn your baggie inside out, put it into your baggie, get a certain amount in here. It's not approved for moving it around, but it's no different putting it on a rag. Same thing. Turn it inside out. Cut your tip. When you're done with the baggie, little to no waste. Simply find you a flat tool, press to the edge, and no waste, you can put it right back in the can. Good way to do that. Our current way we normally put fasteners in our panels and fairings is we simply have a dish, a baggie or something, and we put grade 4. Normally your aircraft may differ, but we're talking mainly H-60s here. We grab some grade 4, put it in a dish, we grab our washer, it's soaking in it, or we just put a little bit on it, put a little dab on it. We stick our panel fairings on, they're wet, and then we merely stick them in the hole. When we do this, the CPC pushes up from the washer. The CPC runs itself up underneath the head, and we get a good seal normally underneath, between the washer and the screw, and between the washer and the surface. And that's when we do use it. We don't always necessarily get to use it like we probably should. I did this panel previous. Normally your manual will tell you to apply CPC to your screw and washer. I pretty much leave you at that. What you'll normally see is very minimal use. I'll put a little bit in here just to show you what you can typically see, if you see it at all. A little bit on the washer, squeeze it around your finger, around this, slide it up, and that's about all you usually get. And then it is inserted into your panel. When you do that, you do not get a lot into the hole. And this is a tight hole. It merely pushes the CPC up to the bottom of the washer, giving you a fairly good seal on your panel with very little to nothing here, very little to nothing here or here. When I show you the other way, when you actually put it in the hole, you'll see the coverage is a whole lot better. This panel has the screws and washers installed with CPC on our current process. I removed the exterior cover panel so we could see the insides of the screw holes and the coverage that was covered with the normal installation. It'd be hard to see, but as you can see right there, there's some clear there, little CPC on the edges, so it did not get encompassed. We did have some migrate down to the edge of the anchor nut, and that's about all that got in there. Same way with this screw hole. And look at the next one. We can see very little coverage. Very little coverage. That's thick stuff. Good enough on that one. Okay. That one's perfect, covering the rivet heads too. Of course, they would normally have primer coating on it. And see it coming out the back side. Now, what you want to do is come at an angle. And coat, squirt it in there. As you can see, this could be very quick. Panel. And that would be the coverage you have if you just want to run your screws, if you have a rubber gasket or something on the exterior fairing or something like that. If you have Skyflex, whatever it is you have, that would be ideal. If you have a small panel interior cockpit, I highly recommend. Normally this would have a hole in this to get your hand through to do your work. Once you put your panel back on, you want to put a light coat around the edge, close enough for squeeze out. And that should give a squeeze out around the edges. If you have an issue with it corroding all the way across the edge, you can still run another bead up to the edge of your cutout. I'll just do it on two sides. Take your spatula, to ensure coverage. Both sides. And as you can probably tell, I will not get squeezed out on the edges. I may or may not, but to ensure I do, I and come back with just a little bit more. Or you can do this after installation. But you notice how I did that. I pushed, and it takes a little time if you push this. Here, you let it beat up on the edge. You can save yourself that last step I did. Once that is done, I want to line these up. Place your panel like so. Put your screws in. I will now remove panels with grade 4 27L strictly around the screws, and then with the fillet seal and the sealant around the edges to show you the difficulty of taking these things off. Plastic scraper, simply pull it off. It comes off very easy. You can see that. Still see the buildup. Very nice coverage. Grade 27L. See it move. Get under the edge a little bit. Comes right up. Great coverage, including coverage of your dissimilar metal where your rivets are. This would normally be primate painted, but as we know, sometimes it doesn't always stick, so that is good that you have coverage, and that's why you come out of the hole so that you spread it around. The full coverage with the seal all the way around would, of course, as you'd imagine, be a little bit harder to get off. Not too much difficulty. As you can see, it still stays moist. This has been on here for 2 weeks. And there you have it. The coverage. Clean up PD 680. You can see it comes off fairly easy. We're just simply wiping it off. Little PD 680, cleaner choice, and we're good to go.